Hello, everybody, and good night, good evening, however you want to say it. Um, got a lot to talk about tonight, and I don't quite know what to make out of all of this. To be honest with you, I could go multiple different directions with tonight's live, but like I have this like feeling in my spirit that something's going on, and I definitely ask that like moving forward. People that are praying for me and praying for this channel and ministry that you continue to do so and it all kind of started the other night. It goes back to the other night, probably I'd say, I don't know, 5 days ago, something like that. um I had a weird anomaly that got caught on security camera, and I'm going to show that to you tonight, but then it led into tonight. And I was on the phone with John Paul when this happened. And it was really weird because I don't know how I ended up outside. Like I obviously went outside, and I think my dog wanted out, and I was like, we're expecting some storms tonight in Michigan, and I went outside to kind of like check on the sky, I think is what it was. And give me a moment here. I'm gonna try to pull something up. Hold on a moment. And I'm going to kind of go through these pictures here that I have with you today. But so I go outside and I see off in the distance this this orb, this light in the sky. And if you notice, and hold on, I'm gonna make this bigger here. Give me a moment. If you notice that the that the sky is still blue to a certain extent. There's no other stars in the sky whatsoever at all around it. And there's this bright light. And there's just one. All right. I'm not going to show all the photographs that I took. All right. Because this is near my residence. This is where I live. And I have to protect where I live from people that are my enemies that watch this channel. But so there's this light in the sky, right? Well, you can shrug this off and like, oh well, it's just, it's got to be the brightest star in the sky because it's starting to shine first and over all the others. But again, you can't see 360 view in this picture, but up above, to the right, to the left, no stars in the sky whatsoever, just this one light. And I took multiple frames of this. So I took, this picture and obviously different control shots. Okay. And the light was there steady at first. I pulled out my phone and I started to zoom in to get pictures. Okay, this is a zoomed in picture of this. And as I started to zoom in, this thing disappeared. All right, it absolutely disappeared. Okay, absolutely disappeared. Was not there anymore. It was steady in the sky, was not moving at all. And I made sure that I watched it for a moment because I want to know, when I'm looking at something in the sky, could this be this? Could this be that? Could it be a plane? There's no indications of this that it is anything like that. And if we zoom in, there's there's no there's no red or green lights on it like they would have on a drone or a plane. Now, zooming back out, all right, nothing around it. Okay, and so we'll start with that. Okay, now give me a moment here. Then, okay, hold on a second. I got to pull this picture up here. Again, it disappeared. And I was talking to John Paul and I was like, dude, There was this light in the sky. It was there. Now it's gone. I can't find it. I'm looking around all over the place. And then sure enough, it appears over my house now. Now, if I zoom in, okay, you can see that this is in front of the sky, the clouds. This is not behind it. This is in front of it. You can tell. Look at that. And there's like a glow around it. But if we move over here, look at this. Look at this little guy right here. And this is obviously a second one that is formed and has a streak behind it. It's moving. Now, if I zoom out, you can clearly see both of them in the picture now. All right. This is very important with what I'm about to show you. And obviously, the brightest one is in a different part of the sky now. It's up above my house. All right. And then there's another one that is actively moving. And we're going to get to that in a second. And it was over the horizon. Okay. So, with that being said, all right, I'm going to show you the next picture here. Yeah, it's great to have you here, Robert Dawson. All right, so now I'm going to show you this. This is where it starts to get really weird. And again, I want to confirm this that my wife eventually did come out and start to watch this with me, and she can confirm with you that there is no other stars in the sky. None. There's not anywhere to the right, to the left, to the east, to the west, north, south, none. Just this above my house. Now, I showed you there was one, and then there was two, and then right here, there's three of them clear as day. So there's the original one right here, and it looks like it's got some kind of a light coming off of it, and it's changed shape. Now, if you also look, there's the secondary one that's more still. It doesn't have the streak to it anymore. Okay. But then if I zoom out, up above it right here, there's a third one. And this one has two different streaks coming off of it. There's one going down and then there's one going up. And you can see that. And it's almost a triangle in shape. It's not round like the other pictures. Now, I got more photos to show you. We're going somewhere with this, okay? I don't want you to think I'm crazy. I wouldn't be going live about this if this was something that was just crazy, okay? Because I don't want to look like a fool, all right? So you can clearly see it went from one light to two lights, now to three lights, okay? So now we're gonna look at the next one. All right, give me a moment here because I gotta share this a certain way because these are windows off my computer here. Now this is where it starts to get weird. All right. Thank you, Ben Sherman. Love you too, man. All right, here we go. Now check this out. Now look at that. So you have the original one right here, and it's back as a circle. Okay. Then you have the secondary one that's a circle. But then if we zoom out and we go up above, there's two more, possibly three. So this could be one right here, maybe. But look at the tails of these things. Okay, you can see obviously the orb. And look at these other little lights right here. This is important for in a little bit here. So then you got these dim lights right here, but you have these ones that look like they're in active motion. You can see like a trail behind them. They're emitting their own light. So zooming out, you can see these things together. It went from one, it went to two, it went to three, and it went to four. Well, you'd think, wow, that's pretty strange. It couldn't get much stranger than this. These aren't Starlink satellites. I've seen Starlink before in the past. These aren't Starlink. This is nothing like Starlink. Like I said, I do my research and I wouldn't be going live about this if I thought it was Starlink. All right, now, okay, I want to show you this. Give me a moment here. All right, so share screen. Now you have the original two here. There's the one right there. That's the original. And then you have the secondary one getting stronger and stronger. And then you have this one down here with the tail. There's obviously possibly one right here. But if we go up above, again, there's two more right there. So now it went from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, now to 5. There's 5 in this picture, possibly more, but we're getting to that here in a moment. Okay, I could even zoom in here, and I mean, like, I could pick out any little dot in here and say, oh, well, there's more of them. But it looks to me like there's one right here, one right here, one right here, and possibly 3 right here. Okay, so it could even be 6 in this one. Now you say, well, Josh, that's pretty strange now that there's 5 of them. You know what I mean? This is pretty odd. Now, it was interesting because you'd think that everything would be done with. All right. And so at that time, and I'm not going to show this because I haven't gone over it with a fine tooth comb yet, but at that time, I saw one of these go from stationary and start to move across the sky. And then I switched my phone to video mode, but I don't get a good nighttime picture with video mode on my phone. So I did film it for a moment, but then I switched back to photography mode because I wanted to make sure I was catching, what I was trying to get. All right. Now, hold on one second. I'm trying to figure out how to do this here. Okay. Share screen. And then now in this one, there's tons of them. So let me zoom in here. So this is the original one right here, getting a little dimmer, and then 1, 2, 3 more pop up next to it. So you have the main one, then there's 3 more that pop up next to it. Then you have this one right here, okay? Then you have this one that pops up next to it. All right. Now if we zoom out, there's even one down here and one right here, and right here. And again, this happened just a little bit ago, about 9 p.m. my time. About 9 p.m. my time. And then up above it, you have a couple more up here, right there. And honestly, I think there's even more than this. It's just kind of hard to see. But at this time, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. So it went from 1 to 9 of them in the sky. And this is directly over my house. Directly over my house. Now, with that being said, um, give me a moment here. Hold on. I got to find these photographs. So I took some other shots of it, and I zoomed right in on it. And this was one of them, right? This was one of them. Okay. That's one of them right there. Now, I want you to look at the structure of that. It's pretty much white, a little bit transparent in the center, and it's obviously glowing. Obviously has some kind of light emitting from it. Now, watch this. All right, so now that we have that established, I took another photograph, but this was basically the next photograph of the same orb. And if you want to call it an orb, whatever, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Okay, and then so give me a moment here. Share screen. Now look at that. It's changed color. And obviously it's a little pixelated, but look at that thing. Very, very strange. Almost looks like it has two eyes. Very strange. All right, so now with that being said, all right, give me a moment here. With that being said, I'll show you another picture, but this one was taken in night mode. And this was more of a close-up here too. Goodness, I don't know why it's being such a pain. And then so right here, again, you can see just changes in the structure. These things are moving, they're shape shifting a little bit, they're emitting their own light. And there was some of them that were moving in the sky, some were stationary. And I kind of even noticed like some kind of splitting off from each other a little bit. Now, all right, with that all being said, all right, I'm going to show you something really wild. Okay. I'm going to show you something really wild that I caught 5 days ago on my security camera. All right, now here's the thing. And John Paul is ex law enforcement, and he can even confirm, there's a lot of strange things about what I'm about to show you because I shared the footage with him first, and I haven't shown really anybody else in my life that about this. Laura Hyatt knows about it, my wife knows about it, and John Paul knows about it. That's about it. All right, and so what I'm about to show you is extremely strange in light. Um, you know, and these aren't drones. There was nothing blinking. Like drones have to have, uh, you know, red and green lights on them. And so there's these were a lot of these were in front of the clouds. They weren't behind the clouds. They weren't stars. All right, and I live in a very small area. Okay, this is not some big area where there's like 20 people that are flying drones simultaneously in one area. And the funny thing is this was right before a storm started to approach today. And so no one's going to be putting their, three or four or five or even more $100 drone up into the sky in front of a storm like this. Okay, just I have a drone. It does not make sense. All right, now here's the thing, and you can't tell me what I'm about to show you is a drone. But what I want to make clear is what I want to make clear is that behind my house there is a neighbor. I've had this security camera up for quite some time. I've never had something like this happen ever. And this was 5 days Yeah, and John Paul even said storm clouds with wind. Yeah, that's no one's gonna want to put a drone up in that. I mean, drones cost a lot of money. You don't want a chance of it getting hit by lightning and getting destroyed, and you don't want it to get blown around. Like there's, countermeasures that a drone can take to correct itself in wind when you have a good one. But there's nobody gonna put it up in front of a storm. And I'm trust certified with drones. Like I got certified with my drone, and I know what's what with it. I've done the studying and all that. So here's the thing. All right. So enough of the drone stuff. All right. People can have their opinion, but I don't believe that that's what it is. And I was here in person. Okay. And my wife saw it too. These aren't drones. That they weren't. All right. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you this video, and then I'm going to show it to you slowed down. Let me just make sure this is the right one. Just want to make sure before I put it out here. All right, so I have black blocked the street that I'm on, and I black blocked my vehicle, and I black blocked my trash can. Okay, so that way no one, really has any indicators of, where I live or anything like that, right? But I'm going to show you the side of my house, and obviously the where the camera is attached, it's a garage. There is a light on my garage that when there's motion, it turns on and it turns off. Clap, clap, on, off. That's it. It turns on, clap, turns on. It sees motion, it turns on. And then as soon as the timer runs out, boom, it's off. It doesn't fade in. It doesn't fade out. It doesn't move around. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to the lower left-hand side of your screen. Get ready. Pay attention down here at the lower left-hand side. And then it literally moves upwards, and you can see it almost like goes up towards the top of my house. This is just getting stupid. Some people just say stupid stuff. So I'm going to play this again, and then I'm going to show you a zoomed in, slowed down version of this. All right. And watch the lower left-hand corner. Very strange. And it was not raining that night. It was not raining that night. There was no cars going by, nobody pulling into their driveway or anything like that. And these things happen all through the night. And I've had my neighbors behind me, next to me, on all sides pull in, and I've never caught something like this on security camera. I'm going to play it one more time, and then I'm going to zoom in here. But right about now is when it starts to flicker right here. And then you can see it waving. It's like moving around, and it glows so bright it creates a reflection. It creates a reflection to the right, a giant reflection, and then that fades as it goes. So it's obviously creating a light. And look, if you look at the window of my house, this black window, all right, and I'll play it again, and you don't see a reflection. Look at that window as the light starts to glare. There's no reflection in the window, none. But it's super bright. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to play the next video where I slowed it down. So the first one is just zoomed in so you can see it a little closer. And then halfway through, about after 30 seconds, I show it slowed down. Here we go. There it is. You can see it like waving. And then it goes upward, slow. And it's like it lifts off up into the sky. Here's the slowed down version. Really weird, odd movements. Did you guys just see that? Dude, I kid you not. Dude, I screenshotted it. Hold on. Can you guys see and hear me okay? I need someone to put it in the live chat if they see and hear me okay. Hello? I'm going to put in the live chat. Can y'all hear me? I'm hearing audio because can you guys hear me now? Okay, Ben says yes. That was weird. Now look at this, right? Look what just happened. I took screenshots. Of what just happened. I kid you not. Ready for this? I'll show you. All right, so this is what happened. Hold on, I'm trying to upload it here. This is what just happened with me with StreamYard. It says they literally took out my internet. It says something went wrong, and then I was still live. Now check this out, right? Watch this. Watch this. And then it says your connection was interrupted. While I've been trying to show you this. So this is more proof that there's something going on and I am pissing somebody off. Because of what I'm exposing with this new documentary. Listen to me, and I'm telling you something. If something were to happen to me, what I'm on to is very, very big. Very big. It's all my documentaries combined and bigger than that. Okay? And man, damn, I wish I could tell you guys what I'm doing. But I got to protect the investigation. You never tell anybody what you're doing until you've secured all the evidence. Today, and you can ask John Paul, all right? Today I secured a massive piece of evidence for my new investigation exposing a pedophile satanic death cult. And so I pray that people would be praying for me during this time. But that is the weirdest thing ever. I'm trying to show you these lights that are above my house, and then my internet gets cut out in the middle of me being live, but I'm still live. But I'm still live. Thank you, Ben Sherman. I appreciate that. So, did you guys see the video that was slowed down at least before I cut out? So, I'm going to tell you this. So, I'm investigating Grand Rapids, right? I'm going to give you guys this. All right? For in case something were to happen to me, because I do this is honestly kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. Ain't gonna lie, right? I don't freak out. Oh yeah, then it froze. All right, so I'll try to show it again here. I don't know what's about to happen. Obviously, the powers that be don't want you seeing all this. All right, here's the zoomed in version. It's a zoomed in version. Then dude, it did it again. It did it again. I could even prove it to you. So if you look at the screenshot that I took a moment ago, all right, look in the corner of it. It's at 12:01 a.m. 4/16/2026. Now check this out. All right, here's the new one I just took because it just did it again. This one is at 12:07 a.m. that just happened, and it's 12:08 right now. There is somebody that doesn't want you to see this slowed down. I'm telling you, every time I try to show it to you, they're kicking me off StreamYard. Have you ever seen me really have this kind of problem before? But yet I'm still live. I have a solid internet connection. I have full bars. Absolutely strange. Absolutely strange. No, it's not the frame rate crashing because it's only in 1080. It's only in 1080p. So the way StreamYard works is I can even play 4K. Like I can, I have no problem. It's not the frame rate that's crashing it. Absolutely not. Really weird. So this is what's going on. I'm going to tell you this in case I'm putting this out there in case something were to happen to me. Not that I'm scared that something's going to happen to me, but a lot of weird anomalies, okay, are going on right now. So I found this elite cult in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It is a very elite cult. And at the higher ups of this cult, I believe there's definitely connections to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. This elite cult that operates out of Grand Rapids also has an island that's adjacent to Epstein Island. Okay? There's so much to this. I wish I could tell you more. But like the amount of satanic symbolism, all right, that I'm finding in my investigation is unreal. Like John Paul can confirm. Like I talked to John Paul just about everything what I'm finding. Not everything, but most of everything. Even Laura Hyatt can confirm what I'm investigating. And I've also documented a pedophile and just in general sex trafficking ring that connects to this cult. And I believe that there is a business that is the front for this cult to human traffic is what I'm finding in Grand Rapids. And there's a lot to this thing, man. There's a lot to this thing. So there's this place that I'm investigating, and there are ties from this cult to this place, this very famous place. Millions of people have visited this place. Okay. And there are things within the Epstein files that connect this place to being involved with a certain topic, okay, that pertains to things that are talked about in the Epstein files. Not like this, Otter. Don't play it down, please. There's nothing to play down about this thing. And so, this place does not broadcast this thing that they have this connection with, but AI and like, just Google searching and all this stuff confirmed this place is associated with this thing that's talked about in the Epstein files. Okay? And I'm sorry I have to say it like this because I have to protect the investigation, but I know what I can say and I know what I can't say. But I'm trying to tell people what I'm onto in case something were to happen to me. Now, today, I reached out to this place and to try to get them to admit to this thing that connects to the Epstein files in a big, big way. And it's something that everybody else has missed. Something in the Epstein files that is really, really, really important that everybody has missed. And this place confirmed to me today that they have what is in the Epstein files. And I have evidence. And it's very possible Joe took a look. Yeah. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They did it again. That was longer this time. This is what they showed me this time. Because I keep taking screenshots every time it happens. Because I want to show you this isn't something that I'm doing. This is what they just showed me right here. And this was at 12:14 a.m. and it's 12:16 a.m. Have you ever seen me have this many problems just trying to stay live? Extremely weird stuff. No, John, it ain't X. It ain't YouTube. It ain't Rumble. It's StreamYard that keeps kicking me off. And so what I'm trying to say is I got confirmation from this place that they are dealing with something that's in the Epstein files that Epstein wanted. And I kid you not, man, I wish I could tell you what I'm doing, but it's so big. It's so big, and it involves the Masons, and it involves the Shriners, and it involves the Royal Order of the Jesters. I mean, all of this crap is involved. This is just another level of wild, to be honest with you. I'm sitting here trying to show you the, and I'll be honest with you, I think they're trying to send demonic stuff after me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you my honest opinion when it comes to the orbs and the video that I can't even show you slowed down. I've shown you slow-mo video before. And I mean, I can show it to you to this extent. Hold on, give me a moment here. But I'll just go this far with it. Hold on. So this is that one where there's multiple lights in the sky. This isn't stars. These aren't stars, man. And there's some that are in that. Look at that one, the brightest one. It's in front of the cloud. These are closer than what they seem. And then I got lights appearing on security camera in my driveway that are like waving around. You know, and I'm tired of people playing it down. Like, it's okay for people to have other opinions, but it's also okay for me to have my opinion because I was there. These are not man made. I believe that these are spiritual. And there's no fear at all. Like, I don't know why, because I'm trying to talk about this stuff, I get treated like as if I'm fearful. I'm coming on here to say that I'm onto something really big, everybody. And if something were to go down, I want you to know at least where I was investigating if something was to go down. This is called me covering my own ass. So that way people know that I'm not playing games. You know, you'd be surprised who I'm associated with in working on this documentary and the attacks that they're going through as well, that I have not talked about even with some of my closest friends. You know, when things like this start happening, it's smart to talk about it and bring it out into the public. And you know, thank you, Ben Sherman. Thank you. Someone gets it. I'm absolute, dude. I don't fear anything or any man. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I fear the dentist. That stuff scares the absolute heebie-jeebies right out of me. Hold on, I'm getting a call here. Hey, I'm live. What's up? No, that's before. I think you're a little bit behind. Try fast forwarding a little bit. You're behind on because I'm talking to people. Can everybody hear me all right? John Paul's calling me, and I'm trying to figure out if everybody can hear me okay. Okay, yeah, I can. I'm heard. I'm gonna let you go, John. Love you, man. Bye. Yeah, so I mean, it's been nothing but problems this whole entire live. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's going to be the people that play this thing down, but those who watch this channel and or who are here on a consistent basis. Thank you, Robert Dawson. I appreciate that. God bless you, Robert. God bless you, brother. And so, but for those who come to this channel and are part of this channel and have been here, know that I don't just make stuff up. I'm not here to just, itch people's ears and tell them what they want to hear. But I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had things like this take place, especially when I'm investigating. Now, I've had little attacks and things like that where, Satan's tried to cause me problems and whatnot in my actual physical life and like the things and my dealings and whatnot. But God continues to help me persevere over those things. The enemy cannot come at me. And so the enemy is trying to make his presence known. That's what I believe. Like Satan's let me know, I see what you're doing, Josh. And I see what you're on to, Josh. But God's the one that's opening doors. And Satan cannot shut what God has opened. And he cannot open what God has shut. And I refuse to believe that some pipsqueak orbs have anything over on me, and I rebuke them in the mighty name of Jesus. And I was coming live to ask for prayer from my brothers and my sisters in Christ, because what I'm into, I'm getting really deep into it. And I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. I was waiting on this piece of information this evening. And man, I'll tell you, when I got it, it's on like Donkey Kong. This thing is on like Donkey Kong. And Satan is going to take a huge hit from this next documentary. A huge hit. I'll tell you right now, this cult has reach like you wouldn't believe, doesn't it, John Paul? John Paul tell you, he knows the cult that I'm investigating. This cult has reach almost into every household in America. I'll put it that way. And I'm telling you, this is big time. This is the big time. This is not some little investigation. It's not some these are very powerful people that are involved in this. Very powerful people. And their shit is about to get exposed. They think that they can hide behind things and hide behind the curtain. Now we're going to pull back the veil on this channel. And this is just proof the amount of troubles that I've had just trying to talk to you about what I'm seeing at my house. Oh, this is over top of my house. I literally could show you picture after picture that I took tonight. Here's another one right here where there's even, some different pictures. Look from this one. Look at how they moved around. Look at how they moved around from this angle to this angle. And this is the same direction. I mean, you might not, this is more of a zoomed in version here. But, and I can even show you more. Like, there's this one right here. Hold on. I'm trying to pull it up. Yeah, right here. Here's another one. And you can see from this picture to that picture that they're moving and shuffling around. Look at how it's moving. And some disappear. And the house is basically right there. And you can see the power lines, like in this one right here. It's basically the same area. And these aren't stars, I'm telling you. You know what, Gina? I agree. That's exactly what's going on. The enemy is trying to intimidate me, and it ain't working. It isn't working at all. But I'm documenting it because I want people to see what I'm going through. that I'm not just spouting off at the mouth. I want people to see what I'm going through, what's happening as I'm investigating this. And hopefully it gives the documentary even more meaning than what it is already. And it just, and you get people that play it down because they don't care. They're not in it. They have nothing to do with it. They probably haven't even seen the other 3 documentaries that I've done. And I'm telling you, this one is so big and so huge, it blows all those other 3 documentaries out of the water. Absolutely, easily. I've seen this stuff before in my life, but this is definitely a bigger event of these things happening. I got them on my security camera 5 days ago where it's like lighting up the side of my house, but with no reflection in the mirror or in the window. I mean, the documentary is not going to be finished until probably, I don't know, late summer or into fall at best. This is a big documentary, and more than likely, this documentary is going to turn into 2 or 3 parts because there's so much. There's just so much to it. Grand Rapids is a massive area, and it's number 2 in the state of Michigan, and Michigan is number 2 in the United States for child and human trafficking. So I can show you real quick. Hold on. Give me a moment here. So I'm going to put this out there. All right. Just because I'm going to share screen here. Hold on 1 second. Go to my channel here. All right. So, I'm also putting this out here. If anybody, if you want to support the documentary, here's my PayPal, paypal.me/end times talk. If you want my Rumble, rumble.com/C/end times talk. X Twitter, x.com, capital E, end times talk. All right. And then here's my Facebook. And then obviously my music channel where I make like different kinds of music and stuff. But I can sure use the support if you feel led, because it takes money to get to Grand Rapids where I'm investigating. I'm not going to say how far away I am, but it's a drive for sure. It costs me, 45, $50 to go each time I have to film. I've been there 3 times so far. All right. And then I have to have money to get some lunch for me and my wife. So that way we're not starving because we're there all day. And I try to eat minimally because I got to have the gas to get down there. So if you want to feed me and my wife on these investigations and help us with gas money, this would be how to do that. PayPal.me/end times talk. And then if you need to like email me, you can do that too. But on a side note, uh, my brother here was brother Robert was asking where to see the documentaries, and so right here, this is the first documentary, or not the first. This is the newest one. It's called Interlocked: Epstein and the Camp of Evil. You got to go to my video section right here. All right, if you go to my video section at the very top, my newest documentary will be right there. Now, if you go down, okay, this is my second documentary that I did. It's called Mackinac Monarch Part 2, Paradise Lost, full documentary. You want to see the full documentary. And then down the way more, all right, you have right here, Mackinac Monarch Shadows in the Straits, and it says new documentary. This one's the trailer. This one's the full documentary, okay, because and here's the thing, they get more views over on X. Over on X, Interlocked has like 11,000 views, but it should have actually had to delete it after it had 10,000 views because I had to fix something in it and I reposted it. So it has had altogether about 21,000 views. And then with the Mackinac Monarch 1, it had about 35,000 views. and then Mackinac Monarch 2 has close to 40,000 views. So they get seen by people. And then on, here on YouTube, the Mackinac Monarch Shadows in the Straits, which is the first one, is 3.4K. I could even, what, I'll just take a moment and just play like just the initial part here. Hold on, let me see if StreamYard's even gonna let me. All right. And so this one, is going into how there's child trafficking and child abuse happening on Mackinac Island, and that there's elite pedophiles that show up there. And you wouldn't even begin to believe how many victims of this there actually are. There's a reason I'm fighting this.
I want to get into like the bigger picture of how this stuff is all connected. Because when you're talking about like really elite levels, the name of the game is blackmail. So they want something on you that they can hold over your head so they can basically own you and tell you what to do. And they film it. And then they own you. So that's what runs the whole system, basically. They want compromised people because they're easy to control. And a lot of people, they'll just go along with it and do whatever just for fame or money or accolades or any of that stuff. I don't understand it. Some people are just like really into the evil.
Yes, again, trauma is the basis of mind control, and those traumatic events do control other people and the onlookers, and that's the Himmler research that we brought into the U.S. through Project Paperclip. Showed that there's no trauma more horrific on the human mind than sexual abuse of a child, and equally right up there is blood trauma. This formula for mind control is a scientific exact formula. It includes sleep, food, and water deprivation, because that starves our brain when we don't have proper nutrition. That's what's happening to our food supply. But this secret formula was being kept in secret societies, like my grandfather's Blue Masonic Lodge, where all the local politicians and law enforcement hung out. And also at places like the Bohemian Grove or the Epstein Island of its time when I was a child, being prostituted to pedophile leaders as a little bitty child, Mackinac Island, Michigan.
And so Mackinac Island, Michigan. So Kathy O'Brien is a near and dear friend of mine. And we actually met after Mackinac Monarch 1 had been made. And Ben Sherman, that's a whole conversation about Isaac Cappy. But I'm a huge Isaac Cappy fan. And he stood up against pedophilia. Thank you, Tony, for the prayers. And thank you, Kimmy, for the support, sister. It really means a lot. Without the support of people like yourself, these documentaries could not happen. And I'll tell you, I've been trying to give people a formula, and it starts with the first documentary. And I show people in that documentary how I found out that Mackinac Island was this really evil place where they're taking children and selling children off to elite pedophiles. I know I could name names, man, and I do. In these documentaries, I do. We get right down to the nitty-gritty of this island. And it was to the point where it's so bad that I made 2 documentaries about it. Mackinac Monarch 1, Shadows in the Straits, and then Mackinac Monarch 2, Paradise Lost. And they liken it to the Disneyland of the North, is what they call it, Disneyland of the North. And it's such a crazy thing that's going on. So crazy. And after I made the first documentary, Kathy O'Brien saw it and contacted me, and she ended up becoming a part of Mackinac Monarch 2. And then she appeared in Interlocked, Epstein and the Camp of Evil. And I showed her the research that I was doing before everybody else got to see it, and it absolutely blew her away. She said, Josh, you were thinking outside the box. You were exposing things nobody else has exposed. No one else has made documentaries about these places. And I can tell you, sure enough, not one person has even come close to making a documentary, what I'm about to do, a full entire production, if not a possible trilogy, exposing this cult that is huge. And it's all over the United States. But it starts here in Michigan. And I want to go after the head of the snake. There's other guys like, I could name a few, like Dads Against Predators or Predator Poachers, Alex Rosen, people like those guys. They go out and they catch these pedophiles. They have these dudes that will go and pretend to be young girls, or they'll have decoys, actual females, that look young but aren't young, luring in these dudes that are these pedophiles to meet up, and then they bust them, and then they go to prison most of the time. And yeah, that's great. That is good work. Like I support those guys, And I watch those videos often. And if I have the chance to do that myself, I do it. Absolutely. I'm not scared to do it. But what I feel led by the Lord to do is stand up against this stuff and go after the head of the snake. I want to go after the places where they're doing this crap, and I want to expose how they're doing it. And in this next documentary, at this point, I'm working with 2 different experts and then also a possible third. And I won't say who those people are, but things are growing. There's people that are good at doing certain things, and they're like, hey, man, if you need this for the documentary, let me know. Like, people are coming together to make these things work. And something that God has gifted me with is an artistic mind. And, I'm getting better at putting together these documentaries. People that watched Mackinac Monarch 1, it did not have the greatest production value, but the information is solid in that documentary. And then Mackinac Monarch 2 came along, and the production got a little bit better. I was getting a little bit better at filming, and then the production value was upped a little bit for sure. And then Interlocked, Epstein and the Camp of Evil was, way better than Mackinac Monarch 2 when it comes to production value. And I even went and I stayed in Jeffrey Epstein's cabin myself. And I found a secret hidden room in the basement of Jeffrey Epstein's cabin, which was his Michigan home, at Interlochen School for the Arts, all under 18, all these kids under 18. And I connect multiple pedophile groups to Interlochen. And so I'm not only going after these different places, but I'm breaking apart and exposing their network. And the network that I'm about to expose is one of the big enchiladas. It is second to the first, in the worst of Michigan. And I really believe that this cult that God plopped this thing right into my lap like you wouldn't believe. It was clear as day. The heavens couldn't have opened up and the sun shined through any brighter that day and showed me this is what God wants me to do. And God gives some of his greatest battles to his strongest warriors. And I have an awful lot of fight in me. And I don't get scared, and I'm not going to back down, even if it meant my life. I pray it doesn't mean my life. I pray my family is safe and that I'm safe. I pray that people that I'm associated with, like my friends, people that take that risk in talking to me, because it is a risk. I have friends that their wives are worried about, them being friends with me and me saying their name on my show. I have friends that I do martial arts class with, because I do train. All right. And here's the thing is that I got friends in that class that don't even want their phone number in my phone because of what I'm doing. So, here's the thing, right? What I'm doing is very real. This isn't some game. This isn't some imaginary thing, to the point where I have, in my opinion, I'm giving you my solid opinion, where I have demonic entities trying to intimidate me at my house. They can't come in my house. My house is prayed up. My house is anointed. The blood of Jesus Christ covers my home, but they are trying to mess around. And you just saw, as I've been trying to show you the evidence earlier in this video of what's been going on in my life. Even StreamYard is messing up. They're saying I don't have an internet connection, but the whole entire time I was still live. And I still trudge on, and here I am. And I just showed you a whole clip from another video of one of my documentaries that I did, and that didn't get messed with. And so the thing is that all I'm asking is for prayer and support, and I'll do this thing, And here's the thing. There are other people doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, just in their neck of the woods. Like my buddy Gray, absolutely love that dude. And it's a very strong chance. And for people that are watching this video this far, obviously you care, so I'll tell y'all right now. But more than likely on Monday in the morning, Gray is going to come on the channel. And it's going to be an exciting show. I'll tell you that, because Gray is a library of information, and he was a victim of Project Monarch. And the dude is solid. I'm telling you. And he has this same kind of stuff happen. He's been trying to do a few different interviews on different channels, and they keep shutting down his internet. He was going to come on, and we were about to record for Interlocked, Epstein in the Camp of Evil, and I kid you not, his screen went black while he was talking to me. I could hear him, but I could not see him. And it come to find out his camera was fried from the inside. He took it to a specialist and got it fixed because it's a high-end camera, and it was like it was short-circuited on the inside of the camera. And ain't that the truth, John Paul? The Lord has opened so many doors for me for these documentaries, and I walk through each door, and there's another door, and it opens, and I walk through it, and there's another door, and God keeps opening door after door after door, and I keep walking through it. I mean, I'm telling you right now, all right? I'm telling you right now, the other watchmen don't like to play with me because I shake things up, and I'm not afraid to lay it all out on the line. I remember, and I won't say any names, but there was a bigger YouTube channel. We'll say above 13,000, right? And they said, we cover tough topics, but not like Josh does. I've had big name channels that have over 100,000 subscribers say when Josh opens his mouth, he starts getting strikes. Because I want to push the envelope. I want to push the envelope. I want to bring people real information, and I'm willing to get out from behind the computer and go and dig it up. And I'm willing to talk to the people that people are scared to talk to. And so all I ask is for prayer. That's the number one. I need prayer like you wouldn't believe, man. To where I got demons showing up over my house and on my security cameras. I really am tempted to try to play that slowed down version of that video once again, because I was just able to play a whole chunk of Mackinac Monarch on here. No problem. You guys just saw it, right? And you guys, I showed you earlier the screenshots of how my screen was messing up. I kid you not, it's the wildest life I could ever ask for. The people I've met, the things that I've come across, the things I've learned in this wild ride, man, I wouldn't have it any other way. If I wasn't living this life, I would be awfully bored. Life would be boring, man. This is exciting. I feel like I'm living on the edge. I've always, as even a youngster, lived a fast-paced lifestyle. Live fast, die young, you know what I mean? Sort of mentality. But man, this whole thing, and I mean, end times talk is awesome. I love end times talk. I'll always have end times talk. But like these documentaries, man, wow, dude. Just being in the thick of it, walking in the midst of your enemies. Like I remember I was taking a nap one night, or I was going to sleep one night. I don't know why I said nap, but I was taking I was getting ready to go to bed, and I was laying in my bed, and the Lord spoke to me in my spirit. I didn't hear it audibly; it was just in my spirit, and He says, "I am going to mask you over and shadow you and make it to where you are invisible in the midst of your enemies." And I believe that. I believe that is a promise of God, to the point where Satan is trying to do his best to try to intimidate me and send orbs over my house and all stuff, and then have other people that are idiots say they're drones. I mean, you got to be stupid to believe those things are drones, because they were closer than what they look like on the photographs. And they didn't have any drone lights. anything like that. They weren't stars, no other stars in the sky. Absolutely wild, if you ask me. And then, it sure as hell wasn't a drone that was next to my security camera that y'all saw flopping around like a fish. If a fish was a light bulb, that thing was flopping around and then it floated upward. Tony, a lot of bad things have happened behind the scenes. That's just my private life, and I'm not going to broadcast my private life on the internet for everybody. But you would not begin to believe the intimidation that the enemy has tried to bring my way, even just running End Times Talk. But then when the documentaries come, I mean, it's like, wow, goodness gracious, never saw that coming. And then now it's to this level, and I just want people to know how far I'm in it. And, if something were to happen to me, I mean, there's a few people that know what I'm doing, but a very select few, very, very select few. And it's the people who have put skin in the game with me that know what I'm doing. The people that I know I can trust. People like John Paul and Laura and Christina and Lucas and Gray and Kathy O'Brien. There's a few other people that I've told. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't have it any other way than to live this life the way it's playing out right now. Again, it is exciting, and End Times Talk has taken me some pretty wild places. Some pretty wild places. So I won't keep you up all night, but I'm gonna try later on the next live or two that I do where I'm gonna try to show this slow motion footage. Actually, before I go, we'll try one more time to show this slow motion footage, um, because I really want you to see it. And Jesus, I pray right now, Lord, that you will allow me to show this footage slowed down so people can see the motions of this light. And then I actually, after I do that, if it works, I have another video to show you that's kind of like it's a video that I made, but it like the movements of this light in my next to my security camera. It's like it knew the camera was there and stayed right out of view, whatever it was. And it's not some flashlight. You can watch the light move. All right, so I'm going to show this to you. And I'm going to do the first one where it's a zoomed out version. All right, and then I'll show it to you the zoomed in and then slowed down version. So this one's 26 seconds. Here we go. And then if you look in the lower left-hand corner, right here, the glow starts. Right here it is. Here's the glow. And you see that moving? And there's no bugs out. Like it's not a bug. That is not a bug. That is a glowing light. There's nothing that should be there. And it goes up. Look, it goes upwards. It doesn't go out and downwards or anything like that. It doesn't just flick off. It moves. So that one I was able to show you. All right, I'm going to get that off the studio here. Now, here is the zoomed in. The first 26 seconds are the zoomed in version, and then it's slowed down. I'm going to show you this right here. Here we go. Let's try this again for the final time. Jesus, please let this work, Lord. And so this is the zoomed in. It's closer to the left. Look in the lower left-hand corner. Right here it goes. Look at that light moving and kind of flipping. And then it glows, and then it moves upward. It's almost like I don't know. I don't want to assume. But then it goes upward. You can literally see the light go upward. Now here's the slowed down version. Here's where it keeps messing up. There it is, slow down. Look at that, the way that light moves and flips. It's got like a tail of some kind. It like flips. And then it glows brighter and brighter. Thank you, Jesus, for allowing people to see this. And then it goes upward. Watch it go upward. There it goes. It goes upward. And it disappears upward. You see what I'm saying? And now I was able to finally show you that. After all that, all that chaos, all right, that's them literally stopping my stream multiple times, and I showed you screenshots and proof because I try to bring the evidence. I try to say like, hey, this isn't just me like messing around over here trying to make you think something. Like there's other YouTubes that do this shit. Excuse my language, Lord, forgive me. But I'm actually showing you like once it messed up, I take a screenshot right away. You press like Control Windows S, and that's like your snipping tool, and I do that right away, man, quickly, and then just stretch it out, and I get the timer and the date in there. And so that was 5 days ago. All right, and I'm just for new people that are watching. Then I have this light show up in the sky across from my house. Hold on. I got to remove this here. Hold on. I got this light that shows up across the sky from my house right here. Hold on, it takes a second to load. Yeah, see, now it won't let me load that. All right. Image. There we go. Now this light shows up, and it's over the tree, across the street, over the power lines. All right, then, okay, then it shows up above my house, and I showed you the little one that's over there with the street next to it. Okay, there's no other stars in the sky around it, none. You can't see anything. Get that. This is one of the first pictures that I took. Then, all right, then it ends up into 3 of them. Okay, no other stars in the sky around it. Okay, then it goes to 4 of them, and there's 2 of them that are faded. So look, see how it changed from this to this? Look at that. And then look from here. So, all right, sorry, this is the first one. Then this. Then this. Okay, now watch. Then there's this one where there's 5 of them, but you can there's the other 3 are very dim, and I can't zoom in on this. But you can kind of see they're moving. You can see these 2 are still, and the other lights there that you can clearly see. There's 2 up above the big one, and you can see it casting a light on the actual cloud itself. And then there's one moving down that's a little line because it's moving down below the big light. So above the big light, about 2 inches on your screen if you're at a PC, and then down below 2 inches, there's another one. And here's the thing. What's crazy is I have a picture that would blow your mind away, but I can't show it to you because then you would know where I live. Okay? But here, I can show you this. Now watch. Then you have a bunch of them that show up in this photograph. Hold on, it's loading. Then you have a bunch of them. You can see they're all over. So it goes from this, then it goes to this, then it goes to this, then it goes to this, and then you got a bunch of them now. There's light ones and strong ones, but those main 2 stay the same. Look how that one brightest one is in front of the cloud. In front of the cloud. Look how it's in front of the cloud right there. This is below the cloud. The other ones, I think, are up above the cloud. This one in front of the cloud, and it's dimmer. Again, in front of the cloud. So here's the thing, and I'll show you this. All right. Here's the first close-up that I took of it. All right. And then here's the second close-up that I took of it. Yeah, Tony, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Hold on a second here. And then there's this one where it's a little bit better of a picture. So, and again, couple that with the security camera footage that I showed you. It's just absolutely insane if you ask me. And it's like, it just kind of shows me that I'm onto something big. And then when I'm trying to show it to you, I have all these problems with my computer. So, again, thank you to everybody for coming to the live and listening to what I have to say. I just wanted to kind of document things. I wanted to document things that this stuff is going on in my life as I'm researching for this next documentary. I made a huge breakthrough today in the investigation that I think Satan did not want me making. And, it just, again, you jump through one door and then there's another one that opens up right after that. So, again, if you would please keep me and my family in your prayers. If you feel like supporting me and being able to go film this documentary, I've already got a good chunk of it filmed, but it's nowhere near done. There's a lot to be done. And so it's going to take some time, but I really believe that this is going to be a really, really powerful documentary, and it's going to expose a lot that hasn't been exposed before. I think that there's people that know kind of here and there, but aren't putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. And as I'm doing that, I'm finding out all these other levels of what's taking place. And I mean, dude, I got some shocking stuff to show you in the future. So with that being said, thank you for listening to me rant on tonight about the problems in my life and the things going on. It really means a lot that y'all stayed to listen. And God bless every single one of you that checked this out up to this point. And I hope that you guys have a great evening. And I pray that your family is blessed and protected, that the blood of Jesus Christ covers you all and the Holy Spirit surrounds you. May God bless you all. May he keep you. And please don't forget to go out and change this world in which you live.